So, wasn't that incredible? A real gift. Food, farming, family, friendship, ferocity, fecundity, fun. Pants are optional. Pants are optional. You know, it's not alchemy that Amigo's here in the presence of this recomposed process that he went through. So I want to invite Jenifer and Adam to come up, please. They're not expecting this, but please, could you two come up?
The way you wing it.
Yeah. You know, it's an extraordinary story, the story of going north to collect Amigo. And you should hear it. Hear it from the two of them. And then what we're going to do is you can see to the left at the roots of this extraordinary cedar, right? Mm-hmm. Cedar? Mm-hmm. Cedar tree is an empty pot and some recomposed Amigo. This extraordinary shovel here, which is actually, come in close. Good. Come in close. Yeah. Look at this team. Mm-hmm. Look at this team. So the shovel that's here is an extraordinary tool, and we were able to tell Amigo about it before he crossed the Great Divide. And the shovel is created by young people who had a vision. What would it be like if we took guns off the streets and melted them down and made shovels? On the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's murder, April 5th, in Atlanta, Georgia, these young people traveled with a forge from Minneapolis, Minnesota, to Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. King and Coretta Scott King's youngest daughter, Bernice, took a handgun. She'd never held a gun in her life. She threw it into the forge along with 50 rifles from San Francisco Police Department that the young people had bought back. They melted the guns and created 50 shovels, and this is one of the shovels. Yeah. It's an impossibly designed tool. Shame on them. However, its symbolic worth is great. As my husband says, it's ceremonial only. The entire gun is in the handle, so it's not balanced in the way that we're used to handling tools. But Jenifer and Adam, and maybe a few others of us, are going to actually plant a young Wixon apple tree propagated by children at the Edible Schoolyard. They took a whip of the Wixon apple tree. I pray it's a true Wixon. You never know when you're working with middle school students. But they said, yes, it's a whip from a Wixon. It's a whip from a Wixon. And how perfect, right, Adam? How perfect. So the Wixon crabapple developed in 1944 by Albert Etter, a long circular lineage, not a lineage, a circle of connection from Ettersburg to Felix Gillet, on and on until the end of time, tasty fruit. So taking and putting together in the mind of the grower the Newton Pippin and Esopus Spitzenberg, blending them together and creating a glorious little nasty crabapple, which seemed to me, when Jenifer and I talked about this, the perfect tree to plant for Amigo. Because, listen to this description. This crabapple is unusually sweet and strikingly sharp. It contributes complexity to any hard cider. So this is an origin tree. And a pollinator. It's right. Thank you, Jenifer. I'm going to let Jenny and Adam speak about it too, and tell you the story of collecting Amigo. And then we're going to observe them planting this young Wixon maiden. It is a maiden tree will be planted. And then what's going to happen is we're going to have, when the tree is planted, and we'll put it right up here on the altar and do it. So we'll just observe the family, and please, the whole family can come and help with this. And they're going to mix in good compost, soil from heaven and earth, and a little bit of Amigo. And then what's going to happen is the tree will eventually, in the winter, certainly not now in the height of the drought, but in the winter when hopefully the skies open and rain falls on the earth again, this tree will be planted fresh and young. And Jenny will say something about where it's going to be planted. So we're going to observe this. And then there'll be a little interlude of music. We'll stretch, move around, and then the mic will be open for any of you to come up and speak and say anything you'd like to. And if you're so moved, you can take a pinch of the dude and add it to the pot. Take a pinch of the dude in the pot, and may the beat go on and on and on. So let's hear from Sarah, and I will step back and let Jenifer and Adam take the mic, tell you about collecting Amigo, and then do this planting. It'll go pretty quickly. Thank you for being so tolerant and present. Thank you very much. Okay.
Well, hold my hand. Adam and I are holding down the Felix Gillet Institute, doing the best we can. We have a wonderful board, some of them who are here, and we couldn't do it without them either. But Adam is the heart of the Felix Gillet Institute. Without him, it would not continue to exist. So, when we went to go pick up our beloved Amigo as compost, we did it in true Amigo style. I have no idea what I'm saying, but here I go. So whenever we took a trip, Amigo was like, well, we have to do this and this and this because it was on the way. So a trip from one place to another might have 10 stops in between or more. And because I was always running around behind Amigo trying to make whatever happen that he wanted to have happen. I did it. I organized our tour of going to go get Amigo's compost, and we had a stop here and a stop there and a stop here. We stopped first at the headwaters of the Sacramento River, the beloved headwaters. Without water, water is life, and so it's a very sacred place. And then we stopped to visit my brother, and then where did we go? We went to an amazing old repository of apples and pears and got some cyan wood for the Temperate Orchard Society, which we went to and volunteered a day because they don't have enough volunteers there. So Adam and I went there. Adam helped graft trees, and I went out and fixed labels. And we were they're doing a very similar thing that we're doing, preserving old fruit trees. Their specialty is apples. And we slept near the creek of the beautiful rippling waters outside of Portland, under the broadleaf maple trees. And then we continued our journey up to Kent, Washington, where the staff of Recompose welcomed us. They were standing there as we came in, waiting for us. And I want to say it was really beautiful, because when Amigo died, with Sarah and I were there, his oldest daughter and I were there, and then Kalita came. Amigo wanted to die, and Kalita's in my arms, and Kalita's notoriously late, so she missed it by a little bit. But my feeling is when someone dies, time stops, and it's not the moment of. The presence is still there. So in a sense, he did die in both of our arms. But the three of us washed his body and anointed him with sacred herbs, white sage and yerba santa. And he looked beautiful. He looked like a king. In my bag, I have a picture of him in death if anybody wants to see it. I wasn't going to make anybody look at it, but if you want to, come see me. And because he had this huge hole in his neck, I put white sage inside of it and wrapped it in gauze. And we kept him home for 3 days and covered him in herbs and flowers, wrapped him in a hemp shroud, like Arlo's. And we put him in this beautiful cardboard casket that we painted. And Tiara put a lot of effort into that. It was a beautiful casket. And so when they got this up at Recompose, they knew that this man was well loved. And they took our beloved Amigo and helped him transition into compost. So when we met, there was this, there was a lot of love there. They had cared for him in death as we had cared for him in life and death. And I want to say that I was very, very touched by that. We were instant family because of it. And so when they brought us over to see his compost, and I put my hand on it, and I missed him for 3 months. And just touching the compost made me feel like, okay, you're still here. You're still here, and everything's okay. And I know his spirit separated from his body and went on to be his amazing self wherever he goes, where we'll all meet up someday and party. But there's, again, it's physical. There's the physical loss, and the physical reconnection is very powerful. I don't know, do you want to say what else we did next? I keep going. Maybe come to this one. This one's alive.
So after we had picked up Amigo, we still had a lot more things to do. There was a lot of plans ahead. We did end up stopping at the hazelnut repository for the United States, and where we met the top hazelnut breeder. Felix Gillet was instrumental in introducing the hazelnut to the United States and to Oregon, and all the Barcelona and the Duchile, which ended up being the staples, were introduced by Gillet. And Gillet had sent those to Oregon University. And that's what actually started the entire hazelnut industry in Oregon. And so we had stopped by the university, and what was his name?
Sean Mellenbacher. He's the world premier hazelnut breeder in the world, and he bred some of those hazelnuts and was very happy to see us.
Yeah, a lot of his hazelnuts are actually replacing Gillet's hazelnuts, because a fire blight has come through and totally ripped apart a lot of the old orchards. And so it was really nice to have that connection with hazelnuts and the breeder, and this recognition, and through Felix Gillet's work and through Amigo's work, and having Amigo in the back of a U-Haul truck at a school university. It just seemed appropriate. And then where'd we go after that?
Eugene.
You go ahead.
Okay, and then we met up with Dahinda's son, John, and we went out to the Royal Blueberries and brought some compost there. And then we went to, I'm going to confess it here because you're not supposed to do that. You have to go through a board decision and everything like that. But we went to the fairgrounds at the yes, Oregon Country Fair, and we planted a lilac there with Amigo's compost. And so you all know it's a secret. And then what did we do?
I think we...
Yes, it's a Kate Wolf lilac. Yes, yeah. I can't remember what. That was it was a big day. We did a lot of things, and we covered a lot of ground, and Amigo would have been proud. Or exhausted at that point. Are we done?
I think so.
I think so. Yay. Yeah. Thank you all so much. Yeah.
Totally.